While looking for something completely unrelated in my room, I came across this mysterious package. Upon opening it, I discovered a bag, full of tank parts and plastic men. How I acquired them is a mystery. They had the same energy of a cheap Amazon toy bundle, and sure enough, I found a similar listing on Amazon. Similar because there are indeed some minor differences. Instead of cold wind, it's a Mr. River. I wonder who Mr. River is. The other difference being the colors of a couple of the tanks, nothing major. The included images are always amusing, this time featuring spelling errors like Garraman Panzer IV tank, the odd selling point of best size for children, and the somewhat condescending need to assemble by yourself with patience and imagination. It isn't a suggestion, that's a threat. You'd better do this right. Let's take a look at the soldiers first. Unlike the abstract soldiers I covered from the Tank in a Box video, these guys don't look like they came out of a variety of funhouse mirrors. There's 7 of each color, in a few different poses. A few of them still have pieces of sprue sticking out of their backs, but for the most part, they're clean. That's about it for them, though. Each individual bag comes with the parts for the tank and the instructions, which have some history about the vehicle and some pictures of the other tank in the series. And yes, I said parts for the tank. As you might have noticed from the Amazon listing I showed, the tanks require some assembly. Not the kind I'm used to with sanding and gluing and regular armor modeling stuff, but instead going together like a 3-dimensional puzzle. And for being a puzzle, or at least one meant for kids 6, 7, 8, and up. Why not just say 6 and up? Why does it say that? They're surprisingly challenging to put together on the first attempt. Or maybe I'm just a little slow. I didn't want to show myself making all of these in case you wanted to experience them for yourself, but I will show you the finished products. From left to right, we have a Soviet Su-100, a Panzer IV, a Sturmgeschütz IV, an M1A2 Abrams, a Sturmgeschütz III, and the Tiger I. The Su-100 is my personal favorite out of these. It has the most solid construction and looks the cleanest out of the bunch. The Panzer IV, the Garraman one, from Garramany, has some slightly oversized road wheels and a strangely articulate turret. It does spin though. Next is the Stug 4, which looks pretty good. It even has the little roof-mounted gun up here. The Abrams also looks pretty good. I'm not positive, but I think the barrel is upside down. That's just kind of how it has you put it in. It also has some roof-mounted guns, and one of them is very loose. Some of the fit quality on the parts was not great, but for the most part they all stuck together. Especially on the Stug 3. The Stug 3 dips in quality. It seems a little bit more cartoony in its details, and with there already being a Stug 4 in the set that looks better, I'm not really sure why it's here. It's also really big for some reason. The Abrams has the opposite problem. It's small, but at least it makes up for it by having a little more detail. And finally the Tiger. Not a whole lot to say about the Tiger. It's gray, the turret and gun move, and that's about it. It is sorely missing the fenders on the sides, which makes it look kinda awkward. But really, the whole set is kinda awkward. There's random sizes of tanks, of course, and the army guys are obviously too big, but that's just kinda expected at this point. The overabundance of German vehicles is a little strange. 4 out of 6 seems like overkill. Plus, the one American tank included isn't even from the same era. Nobody asked for it, but here's how I'd change the set to be more coherent and realistic. Option 1, have a tank from each country that participated in the Second World War. Keep the Su-100 and one of the German tanks, maybe the Tiger, Panzer IV, doesn't really matter which one. A Sherman or maybe an M10 Wolverine if you want to be unique as the American tank, a Crusader or Churchill for a British tank, and maybe a Chiha for the Japanese and a B1 for the French. Make sure they're all the same scale. Option 2. A different approach would have a tank from different eras, such as a Mark I for World War I, a Sherman or Tiger or something similarly iconic from World War II, an American or Soviet tank from the early Cold War. I'm thinking JS-3, M103, the big heavy tanks of the early Cold War. Another from the later Cold War, like the Sheridan or T-55, T-62 kind of tanks. A modern vehicle, the included M1A2 works, and maybe even a sci-fi or prototype tank for the future, like Abrams X or other assorted, very new vehicles that I know nothing about. You could even make one up, and it would work. Obviously, these are just ideas. They will never become much of a reality, but for what we have right now, this set'll work. For what they are, they're not bad at all. They do have impressive detail for their size, and they're not just made up generic tanks. Usually with toys, they're just completely unrealistic, just random, big, vague tank shape. Oh, it's got a gun, it's got a turret, it's got treads. What do you need? They don't really make a realistic vehicle very often. But these are, and that's pretty cool. On the puzzle side of things, their construction is a challenging experience, and it's not the same for each one. Turreted vehicles are different from one another. Casemate vehicles are different from one another. They're not all just the same vehicle, although the Stug 3 and Stug 4 are very similar. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you found this review entertaining or informative in any way, you could consider subscribing, because I do actually have several of these videos out already, and I will probably make more like this. I like finding weird little tank toy things and talking about them on the internet. It's an enjoyable process, and I don't know why. Thank you for watching, and have a good rest of your day.